The Illinois governor was begging on a radio show to Greg Abbott to stop busing illegals into his state, saying, of course, that they can't handle it, that they're overwhelmed. Um, you are now sending asylum seekers from Texas to upper Midwest in the middle of winter, many without coats, many without shoes, protection from the snow, a city whose shelters are already overfilled with migrants you sent here. Now, the funny thing about all of this is just how much, as governor, he has encouraged illegals to move to his state. So I pulled out a bunch of these old press releases about old bills they were passing all through Illinois. And it's kind of amusing, actually, hearing them complain about now. So here we got one that was back in September, where when they started seeing these asylum seekers showing up, they announced a $41 million grant to all the municipalities actually housing the migrants. Basically, again, encouraging more to come in a way of saying, hey, we're going to make sure we continue to house these people. We're going to make sure we continue to give them benefits. In fact, there was a report showing that the average amount spent per illegal immigrant in Chicago was $80,000 a year. People in Chicago aren't, the average person in Chicago isn't living on $80,000 a year. Yet we're giving that amount of taxpayer dollars to each individual immigrant, basically in the line of resources that we're offering them. So $41 million in grants to, again, continue to support the ones who are currently coming to their state. 2019, they were the second state to enact a Immigrant Tenant Protection Act, which is really kind of interesting because they frame it as this is for all immigrants, saying you just can't discriminate based on, where someone's from and that kind of stuff, which sounds all nice. Sure, we don't want to discriminate against someone who's over here legally with a green card, do you? I mean, come on. Except in the bill, it also says immigration status, which covers illegal immigrants. So if you're trying to rent out your house and an illegal immigrant comes up to you and wants to rent that house, you can't say, I'm not comfortable with having someone who's a criminal, who's in the country illegally, renting my property. You will be thrown in jail for doing so under this bill that was passed in 2019. Again, encouraging more illegal immigrants to come into the state. You also have him signing in legislation to provide driver's license to illegal immigrants. So come on down to Illinois. We'll make sure you get driver's license, which gives you, of course, more access to other benefits, as well as, I don't know exactly how you get really good insurance, to be honest, when you're here illegally. I'm not sure how all that works. But again, making it even easier for illegal immigrants to be in the state of Illinois. And this one isn't directly connected to the illegal immigrants, but still shows his stance when it comes to prioritizing foreigners over the citizens of Illinois. Over in August, if I can get this damn ad out of the way, geez, come on. Okay. It actually, and it goes away. He signed a bill that would allow people who are not United States citizens to actually be law enforcement officers. So the cops who are arresting you for breaking the law aren't even American citizens in some cases in Illinois, thanks to his bills. So this is a governor, throughout his entire tenure as governor, has tried his best to make it as welcoming as can be when it comes to foreigners and illegals in general, who is now complaining that, what do you know, illegals are actually showing up to their state. It is so hysterical to watch these people. DeSantis did a great job with this. Greg Abbott's doing a great job with this. Keep sending them to these states. Keep sending them to these cities. Let them bear the repercussions of it. It is.
Well, the amazing thing is they begged for it because they didn't think it was ever going to get to them.
Exactly.
So they did all this just like typical leftists in a way that was going to be all flash and no substance. They didn't have any idea. And the other thing that's really interesting is the number of that are being sent into Illinois number in the hundreds. The number that Texas, California, Arizona, Florida is in the tens of thousands.
Yep.
And all it took was hundreds to overflood this system that is millions upon millions upon millions upon millions of tax dollars supposedly put into place to support. And all it took was just a few hundreds to overrun it and show that it's not workable.
So I thought I had it pulled up here, but I guess I don't have it currently. But there was, I think it was MSNBC, they had someone on saying that it was racist for them to be sending these immigrants or illegal immigrants to these black majority areas, that they're trying to displace black people with illegal immigrants. And all I'm thinking is, well, where the hell do you think they're going in other cases? They're going to majority white areas. If you're going to sit there and get mad at that, then you have to get mad at the other. Either way, illegal immigrants displace people who live there, despite, it doesn't matter what their race is. They displace the people currently there. And it is also funny, of course, because they're constantly saying...
in South Texas, they're displacing Hispanic.
Yes. They're displacing legal Hispanics who are in the country. But now I just thought it's been so funny watching the left actually see the problem at their doorstep, because there always have been in these areas where they've never had to see this sort of stuff before. And seeing it actually happen to them for a change is, I'm not going to lie, really funny. And all of a sudden I'm starting to see some people saying, oh, well, they're also trafficking people in the same way they accuse the Bidens for trafficking them. Well, not really exactly. Again, like I said before, it's okay to hit someone when they hit you first. If you're going to sit there and traffic a bunch of illegal immigrants into Texas, traffic them back over to D.C., to New York. Also, they have the choice to get on the bus or not. Greg Abbott can't just round them up and push them over to Chicago. They say, hey, who wants to go to Chicago? And all these illegal immigrants see all these policies that they're going to be, and all these benefits they're going to be given there. And so they hop aboard.
So how about the out and out lies from the Biden administration and the press about the 3 people killed because Texas is defending their border, when it turned out that they had nothing to do with Texas defending their border that killed them. And it went all weekend long with just getting pilloried for Abbott and the Attorney General Paxton and everybody in Texas, just getting pilloried from every angle, including the Biden administration itself. Just one lie after another. Lie. Quit saying that they misspoke or any other thing. They freaking lied, because Texas is defending their own border for a change and keeping the federal agents out of the park. And it's one park, one area.
And they keep saying that, oh, we don't have anything to impeach them on. Listen, this is stuff you can impeach them on, okay? Let's be real. When you lie directly to the American people like that, and just that direct of a way.
Hey, it's no different than the whole whip lie.
Yes. I was about to actually mention that. When they said, oh, they're whipping, for one, listen, if you're on horseback and you're chasing down illegals trying to get them to go back across the river or whatever, I really don't care for using your reins to hit them, okay? I really don't, because guess what? You have to get them some way or another and you're on a horse. But they weren't even doing that. It was funny because even at their worst accusation when it comes to that sort of stuff, I'm kind of still like, and? But no, they lied about entirely. They didn't at all use their whips, or they didn't even have whips, actually. It was that the way the picture was framed, it looked like the reins that they were holding was just off to the side. But they don't care. They want people... They want people to get emotional about this stuff.
They literally use the word murder.
Yes. Yeah.
Texas has murdered this poor woman and children. Absolute lie.
Which, of course, no one's going to call them out for having inflammatory language.
No, and nobody's going to call them out for all the deaths that have occurred in the last 3 years of people flooding the country because of their bullshit no order policy.
And of course, Trump says, go to the Capitol and march peacefully. Well, he knew what he was saying when he said that. He was instigating a riot. They go out there and say, Greg Abbott is really murdering people.
You know it. That was a dog whistle, and you know it.
Well, they say Greg Abbott is literally murdering people. Oh man.
Well, yeah, that whole I'm with you. Seeing the people that screamed for this and set up their own system to take care of it, watching them get overrun with just such a few people, it just kind of shows how government is so inefficient and so poor at doing it.
It also kind of shows you how effective the Republican states really are when you look at how many illegals they have, and they're still managing to run at least somewhat of a level, while these liberal cities and states are collapsing by just having a small portion of them showing up.
Yeah, you know what? I think maybe it used to be a little bit easier because, down on the Texas border, you wouldn't find illegals anywhere close to the border because once they crossed over, they jetted to wherever they could get to on their own, because Border Patrol was patrolling,
Yeah.
and so it didn't used to be, but now you're right. Now it's impossible for the border states to handle it.
And here's the thing, like again, why would they not try to cross the border illegally at this point? I mean, what's really going to happen to them? I mean, I even say this: even if you go ahead and start deporting them when you find them, I'm kind of on the opinion of okay, first offense, sure, just deport them back to where they're from, whatever. If they come in again, jail them for like 10 to 20 years, okay? Just go ahead and let's go all out with this because you can't just allow people to keep doing it. I still say, listen, first offense, we send you back to your home and we say, listen, you've lost any privilege to ever enter this country again. You can never get a green card. You can never become a citizen. You can never come as a tourist. You have lost all privileges to ever come into our country. That alone would scare some people off if we actually enforce that. But
So
instead, we
so
go home and come back again.
you know how the tax system works. How do you feel about an illegal being able to come in and get a tax identification number that allows them to work? And you would think that's good. That means they're going to pay taxes, but what it
No.
means is they're actually getting refunds.
Yep. And it also gives them access to some other benefits depending on what state they're in as well if they go ahead and have that on file. And I help set some of them
So
up for that. I mean, when working at a tax office, you point them in the direction where they
it's
get their
legal.
number.
It's legal, but again, it's at every angle. We're talking out of both sides of our mouth, regardless of which party we're on, because the Republicans have never stepped up and said we need to eliminate that program.
Nope. Again,
And how about this? How about Elon? How about SpaceX getting sued because they're not hiring enough?
they're not allowed to hire anyone who's not a citizen. A space company is contracted under the Department of Defense to, I think, to a certain degree is what they said. And so because of that, because you're dealing with what are the equivalently missiles in a way, right? I mean, again, rocket propulsion, right? You're not allowed to have people who
No,
aren't legal citizens.
they're under incredible rules for FBI checks and all sorts of things for
Yes.
for a citizen to get any type of this work.
So
And the
they have to
DOJ
just they
from the
legally
Biden
have to
administration
discriminate on that.
sues them. The Biden administration sued them for hiring too many citizens.
Now, for one, why would that ever be an issue, period? If I want to hire nothing but people who I know are dedicated to this community because they are from and live here, I do not know why that should be any damn business of the government one way or another. Now, if someone with a green card wanted to work for me and I was working like at a restaurant, I don't know why I would say no, personally. I don't see why that would be an issue. But if I felt that I wanted the restaurant to only have people who have lived in this town for, their entire for generations, so that way it creates that culture I want to see. It should be my choice as a business owner to make that decision. All right, again, I am against
that
so
almost
many discrimination laws that are in this country because it's not up to you who I decide to associate with. We have that
that
First
almost
Amendment
sounds like
right.
a constitutional right.
Yes. And then, I
It
mean,
almost sounds like
yes,
a
that will mean there are some
constitutional right
bad
to freedom of
situations.
association.
Yeah, no, listen, there'll be some bad situations because of it. But at the same time, if someone tells me, hey, I don't want you here because you're white or because you're Christian or because you're a man, well, I don't want to give you money. I don't want you to have why would I want to pay someone who hates me? It doesn't make any sense. I want them to out themselves. I don't want to give that person money. I want to give my money to someone who I actually agree with when it comes to the idea of values at the very least. So, I mean, I'm against almost all discrimination laws just about. There's a limit, obviously. I don't think the government should be allowed to discriminate against people for, whatever reasons. But private individuals have the right of freedom of association. If I don't want to hire someone who's from outside the country, I should be allowed to make that decision. Now, would I? Probably not, because I just care about getting a position filled if that was the case, especially these days. But the choice should be
Yeah,
mine.
well, in the current state of our education system, you're probably getting better hires anyway.
Ain't that the truth?
That's another topic for another day.